You know what? We're fans of all types of games everywhere, but open world games can be very, very exciting. So we wanted to put together games that are worth your time, not just any open world game, but stuff worth playing in. So we've come up with a big list of open world games that we think are essential. Now keep in mind, this isn't a ranked list. This isn't like a competition. Just every entry is a great game that is absolutely worth your time. So let's get started off with number 25. We have Sleeping Dogs. Now yes, a very simple, seemingly generic name, but this game is anything but. This game took a little while to get going, and when it released, it was kind of low-key for a little bit, but it eventually took off. It's from the developers of true crime games, so it's kind of like a spiritual successor. It's kind of a Grand Theft Auto ripoff, but instead it is set in the streets of Hong Kong, and the focus is more on martial arts and actually melee combat, like hand-to-hand stuff, and it's also more of an undercover cop story, so it really leans into that. And it's a damn good one too. Like if you'd like any of the old John Woo movies like The Killer or Hard Boiled, this feels like it could slot in with those as another cool undercover cop flick. There's guns. The gunplay is actually really fun, like over-the-top action, jumping, and slow motion. It just doesn't focus as much on guns as some other games or other types of games. Still, there's guns, cars, shooting. You can punch dudes into air conditioners, and there's death animations that are over the top and ridiculous and fun. It's just a wild open world romp. Next, over at number 24, we have Horizon Zero Dawn. This is still one of our favorite games. Yes, the new one is out, it's been out. But going back to this one, we still think it's special, just the way it created its world. Guerrilla Games, coming off of the Killzone shooter franchise, were able to build something pretty unique. The very lore-heavy exploration log stuff you find in the game really feels authentic and cool, and just the world they created here is exciting. And it's really fun to just run around with a big bow and arrow and hunt some seemingly cool but also weirdly generic robot monsters. The game doesn't explain it too much, but it doesn't matter because they all look cool and they're really fun to hunt down and kill. With some Far Cry elements to the game, but not too many, it's enough to feel unique, and also yes, it is technically impressive. I mean, the same could be said for the sequel. You can't go wrong with part 1 or part 2 of this game, but the world, the open world you're exploring is just incredibly picturesque, screenshot worthy, just a nice place to spend some time in. Next, over at number 23, believe it or not, another favorite of ours is Kingdom Come Deliverance. This one, yes, has been around for a little while. Modders and patches have fixed it quite a bit because it launched kind of rough back in the day. Still, this is an incredible game that should be experienced. It's medieval times, it's like kind of Skyrim, kind of Oblivion, but really grounded in realism. You play as just a guy, not the chosen one, not a special secret knight. You just play as a very normal village commoner, and you're trying to figure out how to navigate the world as everything around you falls apart, and you are thrust into a larger story than you realize. It's very much a historical base, but more focused on realism. You explore the world. It's an RPG, you level up your character, but you really start from scratch here, just like not being able to swing a sword at all or not knowing how to talk to people, but by the end turning into a pretty competent fighter and just open world adventurer. It's cool to have that as a real sense of progression. And then also cool is just the open world environment. You know, the actual activities and stuff you're doing there, the quests you're doing are absolutely interesting. Not just because they're weird or wacky or quirky for the sake of it, they're just grounded and they're kind of smaller stories in a game. A big world, allegedly, is part of what makes this so special and worth exploring.
No one could survive a fall from this height, not even a pawn.
Next, over at number 22, another fairly recent one, Dragon's Dogma 2. We didn't really think that we'd all be obsessing over a Dragon's Dogma sequel, an open world RPG from Capcom, but here we are. This one is really awesome just because the world is fun to explore, but it's just all the other stuff here that makes it so interesting. You know, it's got a cooperative AI system, so you'll have party members running around and adventuring with you, and each one of them is really useful. You can kind of build and customize your party however you want, and they help, and they really bring the world to life, and they engage with the world. You know, if you're fighting a big ogre, they will help. One of them will grab his legs, the other one will like jump on his head and start poking him in the eye, and then you, of course, you jump in, climb on his back, and start wailing on him. Yes, this game does have a climbing mechanic system for the larger enemies. And then on top of that, it's got some cool magical systems, some elements at play, just really what brings the world to life, that keeps the game moving, keeps the game exciting from point A to point B on this open world adventure. It just goes a long way, and it's a lot of fun for it.
Don't shoot him. I made a terrible mistake.
Get out of there, miss!
Sorry.
Next, over at number 21, we have to talk about the huge one, of course, Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, yeah, I don't need to tell you this is a very well-known game at this point, but this is from Rockstar, the folks behind Grand Theft Auto. They decided to make a cowboy game. Well, they've done it before, but with this sequel, I mean, it was actually a prequel to the first Red Dead Redemption. It is a massive, robust, content-filled, seemingly never-ending in terms of stuff to do and see and discover, with such an amazing attention to detail. The world, the environments that you're exploring are absolutely impressive, and just such a massive scale here is incredible, and it's such a big open map, and you're not flying this time. You're not in a supersonic jet like in GTA 5. You got a horse, maybe a carriage, so it really takes its time to explore and savor, and it's just a game meant to explore and look at and see what systems you can mess with, see if you can bump into a bear, a legendary animal, or just a complete random activity and adventure on the side of a path. There's just so much here that makes this world so special. This is one we think will and already has gone down in the history books.
The whole festival is talking about you. If you can meet me down at the festival, we'll talk about what you want to do next.
Now, over at number 20, we have Forza Horizon 5, a game where, yes, it's another Forza game, but this one, the reason we're spotlighting it is it's the biggest. The open world environment here is the most fun to explore just because of the big varied landscapes that they created, with radical environmental changes between different points in the map. Of course, just exploring the world in the Forza Horizon games already seems perfect. But when you're doing it in Forza Horizon 5, it is dialed up to looking the best, playing the best, and just being the most fun to explore. Forza Horizon, if you're not familiar, takes the Forza gameplay, the racing gameplay you might know and love, but just puts it in an open world map that is your proverbial playground. You explore, you drive around, you find activities, you race, you group select with friends, you change seasons, and it's all about just exploring an open world adventure freely behind the wheel of a car in one of the best playing and controlling open world games ever, because the cars feel so good to drive.
Listen, my apostles of Apple! You've hunted well!
Coming in next at number 19, we have Mad Max. Yes, Mad Max from the movie made a video game, and they didn't just make a cheap movie cash-in, tie-in game. Avalanche Studios created their own version of the Mad Max world, and they crafted an open-world adventure that is beautiful, haunting, depressing, and just full of stuff to do. You play as Max. It's like its own story, but really, you explore, you drive around your car, which eventually you build up into the magnum opus, turning it into a real murder machine, piecing parts together with scrap you find throughout the open world. It's fun just driving around and blowing stuff up with your really cool car, meeting all kinds of weirdos along the way. The story, while not the greatest thing ever, is certainly interesting because it's got some very strange characters, and on foot, it plays like a Batman Arkham game. You got lots of cool melee combos, back and forth countering. It's got a good flow, but also a shotgun for that extra Mad Max flavor. It's just a game that takes a little while to get going, but once it does, once you have more tools at your disposal, it really feels like you're living in that Mad Max world, which isn't like the happiest place. Sound fun?
No!
Next on the list, we have Ghost of Tsushima. This came from Sucker Punch, the developers of the infamous games, now with more of a 70s samurai movie flavor. You play as a samurai warrior on an island, defending your home, battling against a Mongol invasion. So there's a big open world to explore, and you'll be doing it through some of the most beautiful environments we've seen in a video game like this. Things are weeping with history and beauty here because the developers really nailed the presentation, the environments, really making them just look massive and feel awe-inspired. The combat is excellent too. It's not too crazy complicated, but compared to other open world games, the duels in this one, the swords clanging and clashing and slicing opponents, it all just feels so satisfying to play. The story itself and all the little side stories and missions and the stuff you can do in it, there are some repeats here and there, but a lot of them are compelling enough to keep you engaged in exploring not only just the main story, but just the beauty of the world. So you're always adventuring, you're always finding something new. Next, over at number 17, we have The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, yes, Tears of the Kingdom is out, but Breath of the Wild is still the stronger Zelda, maybe open world game. We just really like the pure gameplay focus and just the fact that it really is open-ended. You have the big environment to explore, massive plains, mysterious woodlands, interesting mountainous architecture, all at your disposal, and you can explore it really however you want. And what you're doing here is a really compelling, unique type of gameplay. You very much do feel like a hero adventurer, a traveler, climbing mountains, scaling walls, hiding through the woods, cooking foods, battling enemies, making discoveries, solving puzzles, and just generally learning and figuring out how to do things in the game. You're never really straight up told how to do everything here. It lets you pick and choose and figure it out on the fly. You'll inevitably get killed, get knocked down, get your butt kicked every once in a while, but that's all part of the fun. You're slowly learning through gameplay how to overcome everything that's being thrown at you. And it helps that it's just in a beautiful world with some great music. Now over at number 16, we have Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Now this open world game borrows a little bit from Far Cry, a little bit from a lot of Ubisoft open world type games, but it's just a blast. It just feels like every system here, they took what they learned from other open world games, and here they just did it perfectly. And really, it's the world, the Avatar world, a weird one that is very, very fun to explore. Beautiful, full of cool animals and creatures, and a lot of fun toys to play around with here. You play as an avatar. Of course, you can jump around, you can run really fast, you can climb trees, you can hang from them, you can craft bows and arrows, and a ton of different types of weapons to choose from, and fun toys to choose from, and ways to approach objectives. You then glide through the air with your fancy little suit, and then you eventually get your mount, and then you get a flying mount. Everything here gets more and more crazy and interesting and sprawling. This is just a massive game to get lost in. If you like exploring an open world, if you like getting lost in an open world, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora is a very, very worthy one. Coming in next, we have Monster Hunter World. Now, Monster Hunter Wilds is out, but we still like Monster Hunter World as just a general package of gameplay, a solid open world experience, beautiful maps to hunt, all kinds of cool, interesting monsters. If you're not familiar, the Monster Hunter games are about open world and adventure and really hunting a monster, taking it out, chopping it up, and essentially using all those lizard parts to build cool new armor and weapons and just do it all over again, killing larger monsters in bigger places. It's addicting, it's compelling, there's a lot of depth here with different character building things you need to work on, different playstyle types of weapons to really dive into. It's really a lot of depth. And this one specifically gives you some massive open areas, maps to just explore, to take in, and seeing how all the creatures interact with each other. Sometimes here, the monsters you're trying to hunt, some of them have really awesome, crazy designs, and they sync up with the environment they're in, and it's really about just diving in and getting lost in it all. There's a couple of really intense fights from Monster Hunter World that are gonna stick with me forever. Big open environments too. Just a game here with everything here that gets addictive, gets compelling, and just gets you hooked. Next, over at number 14, we have Nier Automata. Now, Nier Automata is some people's favorite game of all time. For us, yes, we do love this game very much, but we think it has a really, really compelling, interesting, strange, and quirky open world to explore. I mean, at one point, you're exploring this open area covered in grass and strange ruined buildings. What's not to love, right? The game is also just compelling because it goes places. It's hard to describe. I mean, if you've never heard of Nier Automata before, well, you play as these strange android-like figures and you explore a really, really, really messed up world. There are some awesome action sequences, but there are a lot of great names here. It's got awesome music, some decent presentations, some compelling world building, and yes, that open world gives you a lot of fun to just hack, slash, fight, shoot, explore what's going on here. It's something that is best experienced by going in blind. Know as little as possible about Nier Automata, and it's an awesome open world experience and story all rolled into one. Now over at number 13, we have Hogwarts Legacy. Now yes, we're still talking about this one just because yes, it's kind of a great open world adventure. It's so cool. It appeals to the people out there that just want to explore a magical map. That's it. Yes, it is in the Harry Potter wizarding world, whatever. There's some people that love that type of stuff and some people that just hate it. But really, if you just take that out of the equation and play a game where you can go through a big mystical castle, explore every nook and cranny, find secret passageways, go through town, and then eventually getting your own flying broomstick and flying around the countryside, it's just really fun. If you like games like Skyrim or Oblivion, this goes pretty hard in terms of like a more modern touch. You know, some people out there like are mad that we're mentioning like Harry Potter and Skyrim and Oblivion in the same breath, but hey man, we're here to play all kinds of different games, and Hogwarts Legacy is definitely one of them. It is chock full of things to do and reason to explore this big old magical land. You can also just build tons of awesome spells, blast things away. Sorry, just feels really cool. Just feels really fun to play. Yes, not a perfect game, maybe a little bit too long, but this world is a very fun one to exist in and to explore.
He's the day, Willie.
Next on the list, it's Marvel's Spider-Man. This one is kind of a group entry there because we have Spider-Man 1, of course, and Spider-Man 2. And I mean, this is a massive size. Spider-Man 2 gives you Brooklyn and Queens and Manhattan, but either one of these you go with, they're just damn good. Spider-Man games, open world games, are a dime a dozen at this point. We've gotten so many since back in the day, but Insomniac's revision here of Spider-Man just nailing the swinging, nailing the combat, and giving you really good detailed versions of New York City here. Of course, covered in different Marvel Easter eggs and references, just so much to discover, so much to do. These are like some of those AAA polished video games you'll ever play, and they're good for it. They're like pure fun. Like the swinging you could do for hours, it's fun. The combat, the missions even, are interesting and worth doing, and the challenge is also worth going after. Just they're games that keep on giving and give you an open world that really makes you feel like Spider-Man. Sorry to use the meme, but man, it's true. Coming in next, we have Cyberpunk 2077. Despite this game launching a little bit rough, they've done a good job at kind of training it into shape with expansions and patches and everything in between. Cyberpunk 2077 is just an incredible, you guessed it, cyberpunk dystopian world to explore. You play as a character in this open-ended adventure RPG, play whatever you want, customize your character however you want, from stealthy hacking to shooting to running gun crazy to blades to fisticuffs, you name it. There's lots of things to do here, lots of things to uncover, not only just with the main story, but with all the little side adventures that really help fill out this world. Yes, it is definitely more of a linear game, but the things you do in this massive open world are worth it. Exploring the city on rooftops, in the alleyways, and then out into the desert area, there are just all different types of awesome explorable areas here to really make Night City, this place, feel awesome, feel real, feel like a place to explore in and on its own. It's fantastic. With the other open world action, those we've come to expect from things, but with just a nice futuristic tinge and some awesome music. Also worth pointing out is that Cyberpunk 2077, with all the patches and updates and expansions, is worth checking out if you haven't. Now next, over at number 10, we have Death Stranding. Now Death Stranding is not going to be everyone's cup of tea. It is very much an acquired taste, kind of a strange open world game, but it's very unique, very different if you're looking for something outside of the mold. Hideo Kojima, his visions generally are different types of games, you know, his Metal Gear games, and Death Stranding is his next big thing. Eventually, he followed up with Death Stranding 2 on the beach, but Death Stranding is exploring a weird, mysterious America covered in decay and ruin on the surface. It's just a very strange, compelling version of an open world game, and what's really cool about it? Well, it is very much an open world experience where you're traveling from point A to point B, you're delivering deliveries. You're essentially a delivery guy. It is walking simulator at the surface level, you know? You're messing around with your backpack and all that, making sure cargo is not falling on your bad trip. But the world here, you're building bridges, you're planting things, you're planting ladders for other players to use in this asynchronous multiplayer system where it's not like you're jumping in people's games, but you're always seeing remnants around you of what other players do. So you always feel like you're helping someone, or someone is actively helping you move from point A to point B. There's also two wheels and machines to help make you move faster across this big open map. And yes, you are sometimes doing forced stealth sequences and just other weird things. It's a very, very strange game. It's definitely weird. Look up the trailer, but if you decide to finally jump in and explore, if you stick with it, it can be super rewarding. Next, over at number 9, we have a Batman game, but which one are they? All open world? Well, they're all kind of a little bit open world-ish, but really Batman Arkham Knight, the last one from Rocksteady, the big closer, gives you a nice open world Gotham City to just live and breathe and make it feel like Batman, down to the gliding, to the punching, to, of course, driving the Batmobile. This one just feels like the be-all end-all Batman game experience, not only because of the big open world map, but just all the other cool Batman knowledge you want to strain, you want to pop out. You know, switching to different gadgets, solving crimes, scanning things, doing a lot of Metroid-style exploration to kind of zip around this world and find secret places and punch all the bad guys and do it all in style, as well as solve crimes, of course. There's just a lot here. It's an incredibly ambitious game that really successfully does what it sets out to do. And if you're looking for an authentic Batman experience and you haven't played any of these games, thankfully they're on consoles again and they're worth jumping into Arkham Knight, a badass open world game.
Do you son of a bitch? Hey, no.
Next, over number 8, we have Days Gone, an open-world post-apocalyptic game of sorts where you're exploring Pacific Northwest wasteland environments and getting just lost in exploring this whole map and found abandoned areas like old neighborhoods and stuff. I think Days Gone is one of the first games, just as a side note, that really laid that abandoned neighborhood, really post-apocalyptic type zone well. Like, some of the abandoned locations here are just designed. They feel fun to explore. You play as Deacon St. John and his motorcycle, a modern-day old-world outlaw trapped in this crazy world full of mysterious military factions and death cults, and of course, the Freakers, the living zombie-like creatures that are a real threat here in all fun gameplay mechanics. You're shooting them sometimes, you're fighting them sometimes, but you're also building Deke up. You're upscaling him, spending skill points to really enhance and change your character as you're exploring the open world and going on missions. You're also keeping your bike healthy, keeping gas in it, keeping it running smooth, and upgrading that too for a nice little system here that really makes the open world shine. It just gives you just enough reason to explore and, of course, do all the other things, sometimes the stories, the objectives. It may feel like a little cliche, a little bit of stuff you may have seen before, but the way Days Gone plays, the way it lets you just dig in, it's a game here that's worth playing, especially how it's been fixed up a little bit over the years, and for some people it's like just a cult favorite. I don't know, maybe I'm one of them.
Come on, hands on the car, let's go. Come on.
Get out of the fucking car! Hey!
Coming in next, we have Grand Theft Auto 5. This one, yes, has been around the block for quite a long time. I mean, there's talks of Grand Theft Auto 6 at this point, but you can't have an open world game video without talking about Grand Theft Auto 5, obviously the open world game. It's been around for quite a few generations at this point, from Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 all the way up to PlayStation 5 and Series X, but it's because it's a good game. Not only does it have a compelling, very ambitious single-player story mode with 3 different characters to switch between all doing their own different things, but you know very well, the open world of GTA 5 is just a big old sandbox to jump in and mess around and play with and roleplay and make GTA Online videos. And you name it, there's so much to do here. The world of Los Santos here, designed by Rockstar Games, is just really, if you explore every nook and cranny and it's all lived in, detailed, well mapped, and it's just a great spot to play with. Yes, the story mode is great, and not only that, they also still have a competitive multiplayer and community-driven side of things with Grand Theft Auto Online, and it's just a game that keeps on giving, and that's why people keep hanging out in this open world. Next, over number 6, we have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So specifically, the new Final Fantasy VII game on PlayStation 5 gave a breadth of huge open world to explore, and it really ran with it. You have all kinds of crazy different locations, all sorts of different quests, silly gameplay, serious gameplay, epic, touching bosses tucked away in secret places in this big, sprawling, open world RPG adventure. You get really all kinds of stuff in this open world. I mean, you'll be exploring and walking through dense forests. You'll be going through one of the most beautiful swamp areas I've ever experienced in a game. You're going to be dirt biking through the desert, of course, observing the little village and people living there and trying to solve a mystery with them, with then, as a silly side minigame after taking out bad guys in mech suits. Like I'm telling you, you're getting an incredible amount of varied activities and things to do and see and discovery and just delight in this open world. Hell, you even get your own little chocobo. I didn't even talk about all the different little towns, little cities, just lives peacefully happening around the world that you can explore. And then, of course, all the serious getting down to business world-saving stuff. It's all wrapped up here in a beautiful game with some incredible music, and it's just a gift that keeps on giving. It's a massive game, and it's great. Next on the list, we have the Planet Crafter. This is like for more of the hardcore open world fans, the immersive sim, the crafting, the exploring. It's an open world survival crafting adventure on a distant planet, trying to build things, trying to survive, trying to turn this planet into a hospitable environment. And there are different ways about going about things. It's really just compelling in the ways you can survive, explore, and essentially terraform this exotic world at your own pace, which is really exciting here. The gameplay here is really solid. Exploring the world is fun, and the tools at your disposal just always keep you wanting to dive back in. It's a world where you can build, you can fight, you can talk, you can move, you can do all kinds of things, and it's your playground. You know, it's not perfect. If you like games like Subnautica, you might be on the right track here. By now, they've added a lot of things. I think it's officially released, different base building customization types, challenges, combat modes, all sorts of things to just keep you coming back, and it's worth a play, at least once. Coming in next at number 4, we have The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, an absolutely iconic open-world RPG adventure game. You play as Geralt of Rivia, the famous monster hunter adventurer, gruff guy with a sword, and it's all about going to different towns, to different regions, exploring kingdoms, cities, puny little towns out in the middle of nowhere. That's where kind of all the fun stuff is, and doing things like killing monsters, but also just helping the townsfolk, getting involved in compelling stories. This game has one of the best side quests of all time, like consistently good side quests with lots of exploration adventure. And yes, of course, actual combat with swords slashing up and battling dudes. You get to build Geralt however you want with different preference weapons, magic, stuff like that. And you can play things with talking, you can make different decisions, make choices. It's just one of those big adventure games where it is exciting to explore this open world, to go over the next mountain and see a completely different little story or mystery thing to get wrapped up in. On top of just a main world, that is absolutely compelling. You could take or leave the Witcher books at this point or the shows or whatever, but just this game and just this world here feels like something special. And just one of those totally immersive games, you grab a six-pack, you sit down for the holidays, and you just get lost in that world. No better feeling. Next, over at number 3, we have Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It was really hard to pick an Assassin's Creed game here, but for some of the more recent experiences, we chose Odyssey due to the big, beautiful, lush open world and the more freedom and adventurous style gameplay you get in it. Yes, it is still Assassin's Creed. It still plays like a kind of more modern version of some of the older ones, despite it being a massive open world RPG with conquests and leveling up your character and skill trees and all that modern open world game stuff. But the adventure here, the freedom of choice, the quest, the stories, the fun cities to explore, climbing buildings, and then of course, yes, still remembering that you're a hidden blade, backstabbing assassin from time to time, it's all rolled up here. Odyssey is just a really great open world experience. Yes, it's going to take up your time, it's going to take up your life. It's one of those games that might be a little bit too big, maybe a little bit more mini games or events that are necessary, but it's just such a full package game. Over years of updates and everything like that, this is the Assassin's Creed adventure if you're looking to just get completely lost and swallowed up into a world that attempts to capture some history, maybe a little bit of historical accuracy, but then just throws you into a tragedy, a fun adventure with a bit of everything. We love it for it. Next on the list, at number 2, we have Far Cry 6. You know the deal of the Far Cry games at this point. They're wild, first-person shooting open-world games with like crafting weapons and adventuring around and leveling up stuff, and they keep dialing up the action-adventure with all kinds of crazy weapons, vehicles, and hue. Far Cry 6 leverages that very well, especially with the new expansion content they added. That kind of twists the world a little bit crazier. But at its core, Far Cry 6 is still a Far Cry game, and it's a compelling open world. It's gorgeous, it's worth exploring. You're on essentially an island inspired by Cuba where you're rising up and taking out a dictator in first person. The villain is played by Giancarlo Esposito, and of course he's stealing the show. Every cutscene is a possibility that he's going to start screaming and yelling, and you'll love it. He's great here, and it's an all-encompassing action Epstein with incredible graphics and a beautiful open world to explore. You can do it in any way, really any way you like, whether it's going through the main story or just doing side fun stuff or setting crocodiles on fire or running around with a sci-fi-esque laser rifle and exploding a bunch of stuff. It's one of those open world games where you can really do anything, and if you didn't love it at launch or you haven't played it at all, it's even better now with all the additional free updates and content they added. Now, down at number 1, the final game we have is Elden Ring. Of course, you've heard of Elden Ring, but if you've heard of Dark Souls, if you've heard of Bloodborne, yes, you're essentially getting that, but in an open world version. And for some people, it's incredible. Some people love it. Some people like the more linear, older Dark Souls games, but man, Elden Ring, just this big, beautiful world to die in. You know, you're constantly failing, you're getting killed, you're exploring, you're getting lost, you're coming back to seeing points, and it's just got a really rewarding and immersive loop here, giving you really hundreds of hours of content. And it's all pretty compelling. You'll explore, you'll talk, you'll think, you'll die, you'll fight these incredible, amazing bosses that will absolutely kill you. You want a challenge? Elden Ring has it. You want an open world? Elden Ring has it. You want like maybe just a little bit of like a story or like maybe a weird, cryptic, confusing fantasy adventure story? Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. Now, we can't decide if this is one of the hardest or one of the easier From Software games, but the adventure here is still worth it regardless, and it's just one of those ones where you're just getting lost in a world that is incredible. The design, the monsters, every corner you turn, the weapons, the loot, the gear, the spell effect. It's just a game that is such a joy to look at, to play, and to just pick apart piece by piece, second by second. It's one of those games that really demands your attention, your gaming skill, and your gaming willpower to overcome it and explore this big open world. And for that, it's a big, big favorite of ours.